Oh my goodness, 44 views, mate. Fantastic.
We're going live.
Hey, we're going live. Right, Arnie B, play us in with producer Leon this week. My goodness, 44 views, mate. Fantastic.
We're going live.
Hey, we're going live. Hang on. Right, Arnie B, play us in. Got myself
With
running on
producer
two
Leon
channels
this
week. There we go. Sorry about that. Bit of English music. There we go. Supposed to be Henry VIII, isn't it, Tudor? You're hiding again, on. There we go. Right. Happy Solstice Day, Father's Day. Father's Day in Wales, anyway, in Britain. There's so much tonight. Right, everyone hear me okay? Producer, can you hear me? Yeah, get a big thumbs up. There is stacks. So I'm going to jump straight in because May... Oh, none of this. Okay. I'll just talk us in. Hello to a few people. Wow. As you can see, I am fully 100% recovered from all that stuff a few weeks ago. So I am Mr. Fighting Fit. Running up and down mountains, having a great time. Renowned down everyone, Jarden. Who was first on this week? Paul Coles. Good evening, Paul. Arnie, you heard this song. Ah, well done. Fair play. I only heard it the first time about half an hour ago. So that was very good, Arnie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, he's off now. There we go. Right, evening. Who else is on there? Mandy. Oh, Mandy's been such a help. Mandy's flooded me. I asked for some information about Cae Mead. Or Cae Mead. I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying Cae. I think it's like a sort of modern idea, North Walian. Nothing wrong with North Walian ideas. Hey, I've been up in Gwynedd 2 weeks ago. I'm loving it. But the pronunciations are different. So if I was in North Wales, I would use a North Wales pronunciation. In South Wales, I prefer Cae Mead. Alright, like Cardiff, all that kind of thing, alright? Now, Cae Mead, if you don't know about it, was this wonderful palace that was excavated in the 1880s. And they discovered, wow, it's great, this Roman period, this is fantastic. Oh, hang on, it's not Roman. So, believe it or not, and it does seem ridiculous, they cancelled the archaeology dig and filled it all back in because it wasn't Roman. It's been revisited again a couple of times since. And we revisited it this week, so that video will be going up. Not tonight, but I wanted to see if we could find anything about the old archaeology. And Mandy's just most amazing research has been brilliant. Found a stack of stuff. So much, I can't even get all in tonight. Hey, Graham King's on there. Who else we got? Snugglebuggle is Leon. That's his YouTube channel if you're looking for him. Alan Griffiths, Llewellyn Pren. That's Julian. Julian and I are going up to... what's it called? Gethley Gear Common, above St. Geneth, which is where Wilson and Blackett talk about the... if you read the book Ark the Covenant, you're looking at how the Mabinogi works as a astronomical star system. This is the centre of it. And I think I've been doing it slightly wrong, because I've been looking for the Polaris stone as in the centre of the whole system, which is pretty close, but was actually slightly further away to make everything else work. What this seems to be is a guide to the map, as described in the Mabinogi. So that'll be coming up later in the week. So looking forward to that. Julian, he knows the area well. He's also a fitness coach or a conditioning coach. So I was not overworking me up there. Hello, Meg. Hello, Joy Nigma. Right, Nigel James. Loads of people logged on already. Wow, this is a great turnout. Okay, so the other thing, what else I was going to mention? Right, the big ones we've got, it's going to be a little bit shambolic this week. Some people like that. Last week was so super slick and professional, all the videos and all that. Do have some videos. But the big story this week is just off the chart stuff. I've been talking about Stephen Willets for a long time now, over a year. And I keep dropping hints about this amazing work that he is doing, where he's put in them. It's not really a star map. I mean, slightly misdescribing it, but it's the Zodiac and the Babylonian stories that you see in the sky repeated in the Welsh landscape, and the names and the rivers and everything. Now, some people love the really ancient stuff. Some people not so into it. Please give this one a go, because it will shock you. So last weekend, the whole family went. Leon went as well. We all went up, climbed a rather large hill. So that was quite an adventure, wasn't it? Quite a good old climb that was. And Mummy came as well. And Tim and Ruth and Steve regaled us these amazing stories. So hopefully that video will be going up this week. I've got to show some clips tonight, and he will give you the basic story of Marduk and all this and what happens and how it's all in Wales, which is just, to me anyway, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. All right, okay, now I'm going to try, because if you didn't know, there's a bit of football going on at the moment. Now, I always tell everyone, do not arrange your life around TV or sport. But today, in fairness, special Father's Day gift. Arnie had a rugby match, which we had to meet for at 9:30 this morning. And I filmed that. That was great. And edited it and did a commentary. It's like I don't do enough filmmaking stuff. So that took up a chunk of the time, and it was brilliant. Perfect Father's Day. Watch a game of rugby. Watch children back playing, tackling and all those kind of normal things, and having a thoroughly good time. So that was great, and I enjoyed that. Oh, I put this on screen. I always wonder what I'm clicking. And then you've got, and of course, there's the European Championships going on, where Wales played Italy. Right. So I'm not going to talk any more about in case someone's watching it later. Okay, so anyway, back to where we're doing now. So we've got the Stones of Destiny in Wales. That's a pretty big claim. Or, when I lie down, Arnie corrected it, I had Stones of Dynasty. Which is an old Joan Collins TV series, if you remember. And then we got the Cae Mead, which is the 2nd century palace. I'm going to do a little bit about that. I'll give some background. We've already been up to the site and shot some video. A group of us went up. We had a little update on the book. And some random stuff. Alright, so without further ado, because there's going to be so much to cram in tonight. And obviously I'm looking forward to the questions. Just keep an eye on the comments here. Leon's watching for me. And please, if anything you want to raise or issues, do so. And what's great, and what I keep crying out for, and is happening, is this is going to be a much bigger operation than just me putting things together. Because I spend every waking hour doing it, but, you know, there needs more people. This is not a situation where we're short of material. We're not one of these channels saying, what should we do next week? No, it's going to be 10 things every week. Which ones can we squeeze in? So Julian's been doing some filming up St. Genevieve. Steve's done this amazing work, which I'll show you some of. Hugh's done his book. I've had 2 people volunteer about filmmaking, because I'm shooting loads of video. It needs editing. So I think we've got 3 people going to be doing that. So that's great. So it's really taken off. And people doing research. And my email box has been full this week, so I apologise to anybody I haven't replied to yet. So much good stuff coming through. It is fantastic. Alright, so here's a story which caught my eye. Yeah, I am going to do a little wander off onto the Cadw website. I wasn't sure about doing this, but I have to just show a little example. What's Cadw, says Leon. There we are.
What is that thing?
That thing. I'd love to see some answers on the comments. What's Cadw?
Isn't that thing where you donate money or something?
It's that thing where you donate money. That's very good.
Oh, no, isn't
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We give money towards it every year, yes. Because then we get a pass to go into all the castles which are locked.
People donate to you, isn't that?
To me?
Or was that,
Oh, that's a present. Would be nice. It's a similar word to present.
It's like, yeah, that thing, isn't it? With the...
What? You lost me now. Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon. Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But thank you anyway for the reminder. Yeah, plug the Patreon. Yeah, just £3 a month really help keep all this going. Thank you. Well done, Leon. You got the plug in early. Right, I have to do that because I have to go through all these different things I've got open to find them. Hang on. Oh man, it's so disorganised this week.
Beep, beep, beep.
Here we go. No, not that bad actually. Here we go. All right, so this is the one that always drives me bonkers because Caerphilly Castle is a marvellous castle, all right, but it is now. This is something else that Julian's been researching. The one I'm seeing up St. Genevieve, Gethley Gateway, is is it Norman at all? Were these great families like Declares and the Marcher Lords, were they Norman or were they Welsh? And it's not as crazy a question as it first seems. He's been doing a lot of research into the genealogy, looking back at the ancestry, and this whole Norman thing is looking more and more like a myth. And if you remember last week around that clip where Alan Wilson was saying about Norman castles, the Normans in the records, when they came to Wales, took the castles. So how can they take the castles and build the castles? You know, which one is it? Take your pick. So this is rather interesting. But anyway, ostensibly it's promoted as a Norman castle or an English castle or whatever you want to call it, not a Welsh castle. Whereas what's frustrating is if you go up the hill in Caerphilly, what's called Morgreid Castle, up on the hill, you can't even get to it at the moment. We have to register that footpath and get the padlocks taken off from behind the Travellers' Rest. Because there is new legislation going. I've mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to keep mentioning it. The right to roam and public footpaths is under threat, and every path needs registering in the next few years. Otherwise, we'll lose access. Okay? So please help with that. Even if you don't like being in front of cameras or writing books, you can do that. Okay? Right, let's get this Cadw anyway. So this is all world class, isn't it wonderful? Spending millions. Here in Wales, our proud national heritage of promoting foreign castles really pulls together local communities, blah, 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 impact of COVID. Caerphilly Castle is one of the great castles in medieval Europe. I agree with that. Conserve. So, sorry, Cadw, I should say, is to conserve and keep. Oh, and if you are new, sorry, I always forget this every week, you are very welcome. And what we're talking about is the history that used to be accepted as British history, was widely reported, it's in the old books, until roughly 1700, when it got deleted to bring in a rewrite. There was a massive rewrite to history. Began with to make the Hanoverians, who were Germanic, more acceptable. So the idea of Celts was invented, Celtic was invented, convincing the English they're all Anglo-Saxons. All these myths, including British barbarism, nothing was here till the Romans turned up. All that was invented. And you'll find it trickled all the way through the system until, as George Orwell would put it in 1984, the important thing was not only change the history, but to make the people forget the change had ever happened. So that's really where we are. I won't spend too long on that because we are in a big rush. Right, so Caerphilly Castle, world famous landmark, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, great. Now, what I noticed on here, I thought I'd do a quick one on about us. Here we go. Let's look at, alright, so here's Leonard, here we are. This is the people, you look at the internal operating board, all this kind of stuff. Alright, what I want to look at though, if we go to visit, what was I looking at? There's the new project. Where's the projects? Learn. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Right. So this I like you to look at this because it's classic. This is how the rewrite worked, and you can see it on the Cadw website perfectly. Welsh history is prehistoric, i.e. no real record, just shove it thousands of years back. A lot of our historical events, a lot of events described as Neolithic or prehistoric, you'll find are much more recent. But it makes it easier to shove them way back into history. And if it's not, yes?
What does Cadw mean?
Oh, Cadw means to protect or conserve. Although unofficially it means to hide. And I'm sure there'll be some interesting suggestions on the comments what CADW stands for. Right, anyway, so this is how Welsh history is categorised, and here it is, confirmed. It's either prehistoric, barbaric, nothing recorded, just a load of nonsense, nothing happened. Then the good old Romans turned up. And then the castles, which is, the Norman, and on from there. And then industrial Wales. That's it. That's our history. So all the great parts of Welsh history, the things we look at a lot, the Arthurian, the British holy families, the birth of Christianity in Britain, all the things that happened, the birth of a lot of writing technology, stone carving, the British Empire that extended to include Brittany, all of that doesn't figure on the headings. It hasn't even got a heading, okay? And then the other thing I thought was interesting is if you go on here, heroes and heroines. So what I want to do is write in the comments, please, if you're logged in. I know some people aren't logged in. Is who would you be your big heroes from Welsh history? I mean, we'll assume King Arthur would be one, whatever you think of him. He's quite a genocidal thing, but he was the most successful king. Maybe I'll put Arthur in there. And then another one, I think we'd have to go with Caradoc, who defied the Romans and then went to Rome. And from his offspring, like Linus, became the first bishop of Rome. Christianity started there, so he probably warrants a good standing. Maybe Mulmud, who created the legal system, which is still the basis of common law throughout Britain in the 450s. AD, not BC. We'll come on to that some other time. What other great Welsh heroes can we think of from that era? I would say maybe Tudrig, who comes out of the grandfather of Arthur. He's remembered at Mathern, where, if you know the story, there was an invading army, was escaping from Wales. He blocked the river crossing, although he's retired as an old monk-type person, living a simple religious life. Got together local old men and boys and formed a blockade to stop the river crossing, and he died in the action. Pretty heroic. So I'd possibly put him in there. Anyway, let's have a look. See if any of these figure. Here we go. What a surprise. No, we've got Branwen Verchlia, which is about marriage brings tragedy, not unity. Gwenllian, I know it's a controversial one because a lot of people see Gwenllian as a hero. We've got some comments. Okay. Glyndŵr, yeah, people like Owen Glyndŵr. It amuses me that there's the largest pub in Cardiff is the Owen Glyndŵr. And I believe he visited twice. And his biggest contribution to Cardiff was burning it down and cutting off the heads of the local burgers. Arthur gets on the list. Here we go. Enoch and Idris. Hugh Evans. Yes, very good. Going right back, and maybe Hugh Gaddon in that. Enoch goes right to the formation of the whole astrological system, and the writing of the history of the planets and the formation of life and all these things are all recorded in the old Mabinogi, and Enoch is at the foundation of all this. We got Owen Llygog, Ivor Bach. See, I thought Llewellyn would have him. That's the one Julian is the family trees and ancestry has been recording and clashing into this idea maybe they weren't Normans. Yeah, my dad, thank you, Patrick. Owen Glyndŵr, yeah, people do like Owen Glyndŵr. Jesus. Good old Finky. There's always one cheeky one in there from Miss Finky. I'm not sure if he was Welsh, but he seems to have died in Wales, as we know from the book. St. Illtyd, yes. There we go. So we got various heroes. But anyway, we got Llewellyn the Great is there, okay? Powerful Prince, united Wales. Sorry, Cadw, I don't think he ever united Wales. I think he spent a lot of time fighting against fellow Welshmen. The people of Gwent rose up against him and various other people. But anyway, we'll give Llewellyn. I think that's fair enough. Then we got David, who we would say is, Alan Wilson calls him a bit of a buffoon. Lived on cabbage water, yoked his monks to the plough instead of the oxen. And the real patron saint of Wales is Dewi, which is one with God and seems to be a reference to Jesus. So we can work through most of these, actually. And then we'll all like St. Dunwan. And I think what you're finding here is this emphasis. There has to be a female emphasis, all right, for political reasons. But Gwenllian amuses me because if you look at the whole story, I have a bit of a controversial take on that one, where her husband goes away to get reinforcements. She's left to guard the castle. And I know this always starts arguments. And she sallies out with her force, doesn't post any sentries. They get ambushed in the night. Everyone gets killed. The unoccupied castle gets captured. Her family gets slaughtered. And when the old man comes back, everything's gone. So, but she's the great warrior princess, apparently. I don't think she ever won a battle, but there you go. All right, so none of the ones we thought of are on there. All right, so there's me being a little bit controversial start. Anyway, let's move away from that.
I think I found my favourite one, Daddy.
What's that? What's your favourite one here? Like someone's doing some sawing up. Who's sawing up? Aren't he making something?
Yeah.
Go on, what's your funniest one?
Where is it?
We got Geraint, King Arthur and his knights.
Oh, there it is.
Hello. Oh, Seren says hello. Hello, Seren. Which was your favourite, Leon?
Fail.
Oh, Gareth Bale. Not after that sitter he missed this afternoon, but there we are. Right, anyway, okay, sorry, I've completely digressed, Jake. Am I still on the camera even? Yep, you're still just about to see me. Okay, let's get back to the main subjects and Wilson and Blackett and all that good stuff. Hang on. Oh my goodness. Today's shambles version. Alright, that's where we were, wasn't it? We were looking at this. Okay, so it's £5 million there, and the one I was really upset about, I got myself sidetracked, was the one there's the Welsh or British castle in the key strategic lookout point, overlooks Caerphilly, is up by the Travellers' Rest, and that, you can't even see it, there's not a penny spent on it. So the other thing, I've got more pictures and reports about what's going on at Coity Castle, which will be in next week. If you know anything more about the work being on Coity Castle, please let me know. Okay, here's a strange one. I need to get these interviews up with Lee Pennington because they are fantastic. And we've already got, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes recorded. There's so much good stuff. There's enough to cover at least 6 or 7 short videos and a couple of full-length films. It's brilliant. A lot of that, more stuff. I know I've had great response about the Minnesota copper and all this kind of thing. Hang on, right, so that's all been amazingly good. And more of that. Now, Lee has sent this over because he's out filming at the moment. He's still filmmaking, which is fantastic to hear. And one of the things they're exploring is these rather unusual stones. So I'll read out Lee's message to me. Ross, here's a picture. Oh, you can't see the top corner, so I better read it. Ross, here's a picture of yesterday's site we filmed in Kentucky. Do you know of anything like this in Britain or Europe anywhere? It's on top of a knob. It's this sort of, roundish hill. No other large rocks around. One of the highest points in the area. Some of the stones weigh several tons. They apparently were carried here in place for a reason. Does anyone know anything similar to that at all? Because I have to say, I couldn't think of anything. I mean, it looks like they're placed. It's not like Giant's Causeway or something like that, is it? They do look as though these stones have been placed there.
Looks a bit like a road.
Bit like a road. Yeah, I agree. It looks a bit like a road, but on top of a hill seems a bit of a strange place for a road, isn't it? So I don't know. Anyway, so if anyone's got any suggestions on that, please send them through. Because he's finding all these strange stones, and he's still making films, still recording, still finding new information, and trying hard to explain it, and also look for potential links with the Welsh migrations. So, I don't know. I can't think of anything on that one. Right, this one, this is from Ivion. Thank you very much indeed. This is a subject I'm going to return to next week. Got the other book ready. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Oh no. The Celtic folklore. Oh, that's right in front of me. I propped it up ready. Right, slight detour next week. I think people will be interested in this. I hadn't heard before because this is a... well, the way I've done this now, you can't see the whole thing, can you? Right, anyway, there's a longer graphic because what Ivion sent me only a couple of days ago, so I haven't had a chance to learn it yet or understand it properly, is the old pagan months or the Welsh months, whether early Christian or pre-Christian. It doesn't really matter. It seems to be very similar to this book here, which I have, Celtic Astrology, which is rather interesting. The Handbook of Celtic Astrology. And what you notice is the months, 28-day lunar months, that all tie in with different types of trees and plants and things like that. And the curious thing, which Ivy had mentioned to me, I hadn't heard before, was if you have 28-day months, oh my goodness, maths off the top of my head, 13 28's 364, so you have a year and a day. And this is where the expression a year and a day comes from, because 364 leaves you a day short for your year. So if anyone wants to contribute more information on that, pictures, graphics, or help me learn about it, great. Ivan sent me stuff, got my book, so I'm going to try and put some of that in next week. Right, just to let you know, this book is with the printers. I was hoping to have the proof back in time for today's show. So I'll probably get the proof copy back tomorrow, day after, and they will then be shipped, hopefully next weekend, or maybe a day or two after that, okay? So thanks again for the support. Pre-sales are going really well, and that does help, because to let you know, Patricia's been working really hard on the index on Trojan War, and it's just a matter now of me spending some time the next couple of days taking that work and bringing it all together. The book's not changing, although one of the chapters, chapter 15, does have a bit of a big repeat in it. So I have to decide whether to keep that in or keep the pages consistent or try and fix it the least painful way. So apart from that book, the money's gone to the printers. It's all ready to go, so I have to send it in the next couple of days. That'll be going out. Another reprint of Cumroglyphics. That's going great. Now, with Where Jesus is Buried, well, the point is, putting 3 print jobs out at the same time has helped with the rates with the printers. There's a much bigger outlay up front. So all orders now are very much appreciated. So thank you to those who have ordered. And the Where Jesus is Buried book, it's over 300 pages. It's going to be $24.99. It's $19.99. £5 off if you help us out by ordering on the pre-order. So if you could, that'd be great. And if you're new to the show, and I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of this book, the whole point of the story is that after the crucifixion, as described in the Bible, Jesus was walking around, he was alive. He ate with his fellow disciples. And I'll give you some insight into how the book works. The premise is, at the same time, you had a power change in Rome. Now, if you remember I've got the book here, so I'm going to read this again. You see Claudius there, please? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the cover looks like. It's there somewhere. It's in my reading pile. If you've seen Claudius, which I would highly recommend, the old BBC, back from the Beeb, made great programmes. When would that be? Tony Hopkins is in it, all sorts of great actors. Thank you. By Robert Graves. If you go through the story in there, you'll find that for a long time, Tiberius was exiled, self-exiled. I mean, he wasn't, he had complete control. And took himself to his island, his pleasure island, a life of debauchery. And Sejanus, who in the BBC TV series, which I think you see on YouTube, I think I watched it for free on YouTube. Sejanus was played by Patrick Stewart. Make it so, the captain from Star Trek, New Generation, or Next Generation. He'd taken control and he was running the show. And amongst all this politics, you've got Herod. And Herod is trying to keep, he always backs the long side, his honesty, his answer. And he's in a situation where they had this problem with this rival claimant, as I could call him that, which was the royal family that Jesus was part of. And they'd want him executed, insurrection, leading an insurrection in Jerusalem. The execution officially had been carried out, and then reports start coming back, hey, this guy is walking around, he's still alive. So the story picks up on that as well. There's plenty of evidence around to show that a living man, Jesus, was walking around. And apparently the idea of an ascension, of him rising up to heaven, to wherever, become, as Alan Wilson rather rudely puts it for a Sunday, the world's first astronaut, is he actually physically lived afterwards, rather than just this kind of metaphorical sense that the church sort of created after the event, much later. And this is where Paul comes in. So the whole politics ties around, so in the book you get a little bit of background of the politics of Judea at the time, who was running the country, the different factions, the competition that was going on. Similarly, what was happening with the Roman side of events, the fact you had this power struggle going on. Because what happened was Tiberius came storming back in, and whether he physically turned up or he just sent a letter. But anyway, Sejanus' days were over. He was brutally executed along with his son, his family. Horrible things were done. I mean, anyone who thinks Romans were civilized should watch some of the stuff that happens in that period. And suddenly it became, bad news to people like Pontius Pilate, who'd been part of this, theatre, if you like, of the crucifixion, and Herod and people like that. And the game changed, and a political fix needed to be put in place. It's a brilliant story. It's well worth reading. And then we follow the story back to Britain, where you see where these stories and the evidence can be seen. And hopefully we've found the actual gravesite. So there you go. Another book I want to mention, we've got a few of these copies to sell, and they're going to go on full sale soon. So well done, Hugh Evans. And why I'm showing you one here, you've got one on the screen, don't need another one there. But these are actually printed, and Hugh's given me a few advanced copies, which are for sale already. You need to email me, because they're not officially for sale. So we're doing a few discounted ones at £10 each. And if you're in the UK, we'll throw in the post and packing. And if you didn't see last week, please watch last week's show. And there's going to be loads of videos coming out showing how the whole of Snowdonia is this amazing reflection of the Zodiac, with the major mountains, like we get a little range of 7 mountains. They fit with Pleiades. Hang on, hope the camera didn't freeze. I hate hearing that sound. No, I think we're okay. Claudius, that was it. Yeah, is excellent acting all round. Yes. Sorry, something's come loose. This is always worrying when this happens. Is the camera on? That's frozen. Oh my goodness! It wouldn't be a proper show without this, would it?
You can hear this wall going.
Yeah, you could do that. That noise means the camera thing's popping out. Quick. Right, one good thing is, because I'm used to things going wrong, I'm pretty...
Plug it in properly as well.
I have put it in properly, of course.
Well, I can still hear it.
No, that you're just on lag. You're on lag. All right, so we can fix things quick. Nothing's more reliable. Anyway, I need to crack on. Right, here's one. I hope you saw the video a few days ago. Wow, what a storm of... I think it's almost 500... What? Thank you. Yeah, we fixed that. Thanks, Seb. With almost 500 views in 20 hours for the report from where Camelot is, the Cae Mead field. And wow, got some people quite indignant about it, and some good discussions. People like Caleb Howells, who likes to comment and generally put up the opposite view on everything, but he does it well, and that's okay. Right, now, Tim Lewis has done some fantastic research. Mentioned in the show that he actually managed to find a field with Cae Mead written on it. Because one of the criticisms people make is that, hey, if this field was found, show your references, show where it was, okay? Now, two of the things you want to notice on this map, first of all, is if I had a mouse, that would help. You can see this up here. Start here, NLS. So this starts from the 1888 to 1913. So, it's over 100 years old, this information. And on this very old map, way before Alan Wilson could have faked it, put it that way. First of all, we have down here, we have the Camp and Castle Field. So it's named after a castle. It's marking that kind of elevated area, which is shown in the video. We walk around there. And also this other field, which... Oh, hang on a second. I'll see what the issue is. Anyway, this field here is Cae Mead. Alright. Now, if you watch the video, you'll see that I have some suspicions about... I should go to the website here, rather than just using this... Am I on the website? Ooh. No, I'm on the presentation. Up this hill seems more prominent. But also, I've been contacted by someone who worked with Alan Wilson back in the day. And there is another field in this lot that we need to visit, where you can see more castle remains. Because one of the problems people have is, where's the remains? So as I was saying, as far as I can see it, there's 5 real options. One is all made out of wood, and you wouldn't have any remains. 2, it was systematically destroyed and removed. Well, I think usually you leave something behind. 3, possibly the most exciting, is yes, indeed, there are remains. And they're still there. And the whole thing's been buried under an earthen mound. That's been happening. That's happened before. Another one, of course, got the wrong field. And 5th one's the one I haven't thought of yet. So I'm sure people got a 5th one. So please look at that one, because this is really, really important. And I think the next slide's looking very ugly. Oh, that looks so ugly. That's horrible. I've got all the links on it, but I haven't opened up the pages yet. How am I going to do this? Okay, so... sorry, I had to have a... Right. Okay, we'll jump to here. Right, so we've got a similar site, only this time it's a more extreme example, which I really... this is quite shocking, and it's very controversial. In many ways, it's a subject which is difficult to even raise, because it's very, very sensitive. Now, if you go through the old... This really cuts to the heart of what we're doing. If you go to the old British records, so I'm putting all this up on a video soon, but there's a very clear record of a Roman style villa or palace being built for one of the Welsh kings, okay? And this would apparently be it. You can go there. There's just a field. It's very hard to find. All this is going up on the video, which we filmed last week. As I'm saying, I've been out all the time filming while the weather was great. And and we were able to go. So we've done all that. And so let's just see what... So it is on Wikipedia. So even Wikipedia recognises something exists. It's cut off on your screen, unfortunately. Oh, there we are. That's a bit better. Right, so the Lantic Major Roman Villa was a Roman... Everything's Roman. Let's just say Roman style, okay? L-shaped courtyard villa located at what is now in Cae Mead. Immediately north of town Lantic Major in the Welsh county of South Glamorgan. First discovered in 1887. And this is the key, all right? 1887, 1888. There was some quite extensive archaeological work carried out. Now, we've got the details here. The guy was related to Cardiff University. Hogg or something. We'll see his name. I haven't learnt all the details yet, but I've got some stuff to show you, so we can learn together. 1867, 1888, and this is where it gets shocking. What seems to have happened, there was a lot of excitement because this is a major palace covering quite a large area, extensive rooms, and there's a lot of things going on there. And as it says here, the site may have been occupied in the late Iron Age. And this is awkward because that means before the Romans, effectively. Although, anyway, the first stone structure was erected in the 2nd century. Might be true. It matches the records, so probably. The site developed slowly. This is where we get this weasel words. And it has been suggested it was even abandoned during the 3rd century. There we are. By the 4th century, there was an L-shaped villa with fine mosaic floors. This is the thing. The mosaic floors, okay? A large aisle building, possibly for farm workers, a number of smaller agricultural structures, almost enclosing a central courtyard. Part of the site was a cemetery near Mead, blah, blah, blah. It's been revisited a couple of times since. Now, what was interesting in this? When it says no evidence has been found to support the suggestion the village was somehow associated with St. Ithdid. When you see something like that on Wikipedia, there's no evidence or it's rubbish, have a look. Quite often they're the best clues you're going to get. But the big clue, and I'll show you some pictures in it, because there are still pictures, amazingly, from the 1888 dig. What seems to have happened is everyone got very excited. Here's a Roman palace, one of the biggest, found it in Wales. Wow, isn't this amazing? And you see the red dot, give you an idea, South Wales. Dig, dig, dig. Hey, clean up the mosaic. Oh, hang on. It's clearly not Roman. The designs aren't Roman. The designs are British. What are we going to do? All right? What are we going to do? So there's no prizes for guessing on this one. What happened? Hang on a second. Let's get the pictures out. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. I'm having to jump around a bit. Is anyone going to take a guess at what happened? Cancel? What's this? What's it doing to me? Sorry. Right. The pictures aren't very good. Some of these might be from 1940s as well. I need to go through everything, looking at it properly, okay? They are Story's original notebook. He's one of the guys who excavated it. Well, the only thing you can do in that situation, if you've got something, you've already dated it as between 2nd and 4th century, slap bang in when Wales is supposed to be occupied by the Romans, and everything built was by Romans because British people are too stupid. Or as Alan Wilson says, I put a stone on top of another stone, I've just made a Roman wall. If you come up with a building which everything inside it screams British, and it's not Roman, you send a couple of guys up in suits, and they stop the archaeological dig, and everything gets filled back in again. And all we're left with is a field. I kid you not. Imagine, it reminds me of the one down the southeast of England, where you've got a palace there that's built by a British king. They say the Romans built it for him to keep him happy. Again, this idea of British actually building something is just ridiculous for the mainstream academics. Also, there's baths here as well, apparently, which causes another big problem. Although, if you talk to Richard Davis, my friend over in Cwmbran, who's doing a wonderful job with his Cwmiko warriors and local archaeology and stuff like that. Hello, Richard, my druid. I hope you're well. Hope everything's okay. We should meet up again soon. He says there that actually it was the British who had invented the bathing and everything, and the Romans just used to use olive oil and scrape themselves. But that's another question. Okay, so there was loads and loads of details. You see down here. This is going way back. This is about Cae Mead. Isn't this fantastic? Mandy found all this. Brilliant. So I haven't had time to put it all together properly for a video, but I was so excited to share it. There we go. So this is the original one. There we are, John's story. Look, there we go. From the Public Library, 1901. So there he is. All this amazing archaeology work was done. And there's the layout. As you can see, it's a major setup. Does this seem strange to you that this doesn't have a massive museum next to it and a roof over the top and a visitor centre? And there's all these different rooms, how it all works. There was a lot of work done. A lot of work done. Okay. The patterns of the pavements, again, not Roman. Very unusual anyway, if they are Roman. It's the only place in the world the Romans did it. Here's some of the mosaic patterns I want to show you, so please have a look at those. Do they look Roman or ancient British? I don't use the word Celtic, please, because we know that the British are not Celts, and neither the Irish. But I do agree this is the kind of design that gets called Celtic. So, I guess it's a bit awkward, isn't it? if you've got this British designs on a mosaic floor of a building, there has to be Roman. Yeah. Fascinating, isn't it? So we're going to be doing a lot more on this. So the picture's a bit jumbled up. There might be some duplications, for which I apologise. I think we've seen these. And then they've got stones. So where's everything gone is the other question. What's this say here? End of corridor from south. Arrows indicate skeleton and statuette. Where's the statuette gone? Where's all the stuff from this dig? See the mosaic floors and that? I mean, this is absolutely stunning. This should be one of the absolute flagship items in British and Welsh places to visit in history. And it's just up a lane in a farmer's field. You would not even know it's there. I haven't even been able to find it. Tim showed me where it was. Look at this. Bits of statues. Is that fragments of... Hang on, I can't read that. Vindelander Latin writing tablet. Writing there? Surely not. The British writing stuff? What's going on? There we go. So, sorry about this. I thought we had more slides on that. And I put a few blanks in. Okay, so there you go. So that's rather, I don't know, disturbing in a way, isn't it, really? So if you know any more about Cae Mead, and I know watching this channel now are more people appearing every week, and the numbers are going up. So thank you for that. There's a solid core who watch this every week, and are fantastic. And you've been here since the start. Over a year we've been doing these. How quickly it's grown. Just 1 year, yeah? And the people joining, and a lot of the people joining are people who were involved in this back in the 90s and 80s with Alan Wilson. And are going to show me some of the old sites, because some of the things they say I haven't quite got right, which is great. Anybody, a lot of people say, oh, I'm really sorry to say this. No, just send information, okay? I'm way beyond ever worrying about me getting things wrong or being told by someone else. If you've got knowledge to share, just say it, all right? Okay, now I'm just going to... I want to show a... All right, so I better show a quick clip from Cae Mead, and I think I want to be careful because I haven't really checked the videos out. Okay, so that's what you can see at the moment. Okay. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. That's Cae Mead and Cae Mead. Gets confusing, doesn't it? Alright, well, if you haven't seen the previous one we're going on about, the fort, which people say still doesn't exist, this is from the bottom of the field looking up, and there's the different levels where the fort would be, and it's called Field of the Castle, next to the field called Cae Mead. But hey, the whole thing's nonsense. There's no evidence, alright? Sorry, but I'm going to find out, though.
That's still really loud, Daddy.
Yeah, sorry. I'll be careful for the next one.
Even after you turn it down, it's still really
Apologies for blasting everyone's ears out.
I did say a thing with the lag, Daddy.
Okay, yeah, the lag's a long way behind, isn't it? So by the time I found out, just bear with me a second. Oops, sorry. Going through the folders here. I put it all together in a folder already. That's what I've done. Right, okay. On to a bit more fun stuff. It's always a bit serious again, isn't it? Sorry about that. There's so much to cover. Right, I'm going to turn the volume down before we go anywhere. Hang on.
So you've got a story called...
Right, I'm going to take a little sit back now, because this person is one of the most wonderful people you will ever meet. Let's get the front of his face showing. Hang on.
So you got it.
Hang on. There you see. All right. There we are. You can't see his great smile from there. You'll see it in a minute. Wonderful, modest, unassuming guy. He's just cool. He's just great. And he's been working on this for years now. And you see him up in up above. Well, it's the other side from Cymdery, actually. What's wrong?
UV sets.
Hey?
The volume UV sets.
Oh, thank you. My producer's very hands-on. I turn it down. It's all right. You can do all the buttons soon, okay? Then I'll just talk. Now, what Steve's been working on is, I mentioned this before, is the whole Babylonian Zodiac and story written out in the Welsh hills and place names. No, it's mind-blowing. And the rivers. It seems ridiculous. And how it happens, please don't trouble yourself too long on how it happened. Just see evidence that it has happened. And... oh, gosh. You should organise this week. Anyway, Gavin White's written a fantastic book, which I recommend, on Babylonian star lore. Not one I sell, don't get a commission, just should read it for information. And you'll find stacks of the information in there and Steve is just so well read, so educated on this sort of stuff, and very deceptive person in that you don't realise just how intellectually brilliant he is. And he's put all this together and then looked at this area. And so let him tell the story first of all. Just enjoy his storytelling. It's brilliant.
So you got a story called, in Babylonian times, the Enuma Elish or Elish. It's basically a story of how the god Marduk came to be the prominent god. It starts off with a dragon called Tiamat and Apsu, which is like a primordial force. Now those created the senior Anunnaki, say like Enlil, Anu, and the rest, Enki. So after they created them, they give birth to other gods, and the gods were making too much noise. So Apsu goes to Tiamat, you're going to have to do something. So Apsu said, I want to kill all these gods. So Tiamat wasn't happy about it. But anyway, Apsu went to see his vizier, and he said, well, just do it anyway. But Tiamat found out, so she was quite annoyed and enraged. So eventually Enki finds out. So Enki then decides to kill Apsu, and after a battle he kills Apsu. Tiamat then becomes even more enraged and decides to fight the Anunnaki, the senior Anunnaki gods. So first of all Enlil went to fight them, and he said, no, we don't want to know, she's too powerful. So Marduk steps forward and says, right, then I will fight Tiamat, but as long as you elevate me to the senior god, and I'll become like Enlil then, I'll be the senior Anunnaki. So I say, okay then. So as the battle starts, Tiamat and Enlil start this battle. Marduk. So Marduk gets a bow with a cosmic thunderbolt as an arrow, shoots at Tiamat. So it's like thunderbolts being shot at her. She gets enraged, she's just about to spit fire and brimstone and whatever out of her mouth. So he whips together some winds, like tornadoes and whatever, thrusts her down the throat and eventually kills her. And then he stands over her dead body. And Tiamat was also known as the glistening one. So he stands over the body, eventually splits her in half like a fish and kills her. So then out of his own blood he creates man. And man would do the work of the gods, so the gods could live in luxury. So, and then Marduk then brought order to the universe, whereas Tiamat represented chaos and things like that. So eventually Marduk brings order to the universe. So that story, believe it or not, is encoded in this landscape. So if we start right at the top, on that mountain, that's Mynydd Llangynnydau, right at the farthest mountain back is Mynydd Llangynnydau. And obviously the last bit neither snake, and well, it's not snake, it's serpent, and the dragon is a serpent, so that could represent Tiamat. And there's a cane up there called Cae Mead, and now Caus means cheese, which doesn't make any sense for a cane, but if you drop the S, you got CAW, cow, which basically means to bring order to something. So you bring an order now from this battle, and Tiamat being chaos, you bring an order to it. So Mynydd Llangynnydau, you could say, is Tiamat's body, and it's said that her eye, when she died, water came from her eyes, and the water went to the Euphrates and Tigris to create the rivers. Well, on the mountain just over there is a place called Cefn Golai, and one of the meanings of Golai is to glisten. And where it is, the water drains both ways into the Sarawi and both to the Rhymney River, so it's doing the same sort of thing. Like I said, you got Toyn Abertwsog here. At the end of the battle, he was promoted to Enlilship, and the last tablet in the Epic of Creation is basically the attributes of Marduk, the 50 names of Marduk. So it says he's the Lord, so that could represent the Lord. the architect, which you got Toyn Conical here, which is clever from Cymroglyphics. If you come down to here, you got Toyn Gwent, which Enlil and Marduk were both known as Lord Wind. So you got Gwent, which is wind. If you go further down, you got what we say locally is Cuddymoth, but it's Coedamoith, which is the wood of luxury. So why would a mountain be called the wood of luxury? But if after the battle humans did the work of the gods and they lived in luxury,
That's where you're out.
back over this way, sorry, you got Enki was the one who killed Apsu, and after he killed it, he built his home on top of Apsu. But Enki was known as the stag of Apsu. And on top of it, you got Toyn Hyddod, Hyddod, which means stag or heart. So you got the reference to the stag of Enki across that way. You can't see the rest over that way. If you go further up that way, you've got Coed Brain. Brain comes from Bran, which means raven, which also means the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet of Marduk. So you've got reference there, and then you've got Bydwellsty Church. But Bydwellsty never used to be spelt Bydwellsty, it used to be Bod Melster. And this mountain across here is Mynydd Bydwellsty, or Mynydd Bod Melster. Now Melster, they reckon, is almost certainly somebody's name. But if you drop the E off Melster, Bod means abode or place of residence, and Melst means thunderbolt. So you've got the place of the being with the thunderbolt then.
Wow.
So you've got the thunderbolt, you've got the stag of Enki, you've got the bringing order, you've got the wood of luxury, Toyn Gwent, the Lord Wind. Across the other side of the mountain, Marduk holds a rod and ring. And exactly where his hand would be if you overlay a figure of him on his chest, you've got a farm there called, if I can remember now, Sloin Arvon. Now, Arv, A-R-F, can mean implement or device, and the on is a suffix, like pluralising things. Today is Arvai, but it might have been Arvon there. So you've got something representing the rod and ring, saying that he's holding implements in his hand. There's a field right by that farm called Cae Crwn, which means circular or ring-like, and I'm not sure, I think it might actually mean dividers as well. But you've got references to these rod and ring, which are how they measured and divided and put the universe into order then.
They surveyed the land, yeah.
Or they surveyed now if you go over this way, you got Ysgwydd Gwyn. Now Ysgwydd Gwyn means white shoulder, and that's where Marduk's left shoulder would be. Over that way.
Why on earth would a place be called Shoulder?
Yeah. Over that way where his hand would be, you got Pant Foster Hebog, I think it is. Now Hebog can mean champion, something like that. Pant, if you take it from Pant to Llaw, which means palm of the hand, you could have the reference to the hand. And Foss can be sometimes mutated from Boss, also meaning like the palm of the hand. So you got his other hand over there. I did miss one out over the top. Where his foot, exactly where his foot should be, you got Tried and Milwa, which means the foot of the soldier or champion, where his foot should be. So you got his foot, both his hands, his shoulder. You got the thunderbolt. You got the wind. I mean, you got Tiamat, the glistening one, where Kevin Golai, where her eye glistens and the water comes out and goes to two rivers, which it does.
Fantastic. That's remarkable, isn't it?
And I'm trying to think, what else have I missed? I know I've missed something.
That's amazing, Steve.
And then
That's amazing.
on the front of that image, you got three symbols, circular symbols, which represent the tablets of destiny. Now, on this figure, they would be on the mountain itself, but symbolically it could be that, and that, those three in a row. Toyn Gwyn, Toyn Conical, and Toyn Abertwsog.
Right, it's a bit slower. The one there by the turbine.
Yeah, Toyn Gwyn.
Toyn Gwyn.
Right, okay, now this, hope you got a good flavour of that there. because it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And what I'm going to show on the video in the week, so please look out for it, is you'll see there that it's enough for tonight, but you'll see that the whole body is mapped out. You can see there's a farm called the shoulder, there's a place called the hand, got the other hand, and where it gets really interesting there, you got the head, the feet, and the rivers, where the rivers divide and draw, that forms the edge of the person. It's amazing. Now, on its own, this to me is just an absolute phenomenal find. I mean, absolute major find by Stephen here on its own. Just that. But what you have to... this is one example where he's doing all the Zodiac from the Babylonian Zodiac and the Babylonian stories. It all maps out across South Wales. I mean, it's absolutely staggering. I mean, if anyone else... I mean, where the shoulder is, you've got a farm called Farm of the White Shoulder. I mean, why would you call a farm of the White Shoulder? I mean, it's just bizarre. And there's another one named after the foot, the hand holding the implement. You know, it's hard to imagine any other explanation for these names. I mean, it's as Dean said on the comments there, it's bonkers, isn't it? Well, is it just named after the stories the other way around? That's a difficult one, Paul. It's a good question. Who knows which way around it is? Well, what is amazing, though, where you can say, yeah, well, they just named this area after the stories. I agree with that. The difficult part of that, though, is how do you find a place where all the hills just happen to be in the right place? This is got to think it through now. How do you find a place, as presumably you've got the whole of Earth to choose from, where, because it's not just there's one here, another one over here, they form the pattern. Ah, where's my Gavin White book? Come on, it's here. Here it is. That's the great thing about having a book so close, is this book's great. I always think of it as a white book, because his name's Gavin White, but it's actually a black spine. So, there we are. There we are, never forget now I've said that. This is the layout. I'm just going to try and get that on the camera. This massive lag means I have to hold it for about 3 or 4 seconds before I can see if it's come out all right. Talk amongst yourselves. Hopefully that's in focus and you can see it. Because if you look at the pattern of all these different things on here, these all tie in as well with the place names and the hills. So again, it's a bit like Hughes up in Gwynedd. You've got the same thing there, right? You've got the mountains of Gwynedd fitting the Ptolemaic Zodiac. Okay, you can just about see it. Well, I'll have to do more on this. This is why the subjects become so huge. Any one of these subjects, right? The Roman villas, the Arthurian stuff, the Babylonian star maps, what Hughes done, the stuff with Lee Pennington, more Wilson and Blackett books coming out, and there's books coming out about, why the pyramids are built. It's just got them all just sitting there waiting to go out. The Odyssey around the world, it's just vast. So if you want to get involved and do something, no one is taking the food off my plate. As I always say, you're not taking food off my plate. You're bailing buckets of water out of a drowning ship, okay? It's all help appreciated. We need to get this information out there. But the point with this is that with the mountains in Gwynedd, right, let's go back a step to try and explain the difficulty and the thinking of this. And I'm looking at the comments as well. Oh, sorry, I banged the camera. Let's try and just step back a second. One of the things I studied at university, an incredibly useful tool, is called game theory. And game theory, I mean, it sounds a bit fancy and there's lots of statistics and everything, but don't worry about that side of it. The principles of it are really good. And a simple example really annoyed me when they were discussing the Welsh football game against Italy. Oh, I think they need a win. I think they need a draw. Well, they should be right with 4, and they should work it out, all right? Because you can work it out. So what you do is if they win, they have this many points. If the other team does this, they'll have so many points. Next scenario, a draw and they win, a draw they draw, a draw they lose, and then you lose. And that's game theory. You look at all the possibilities, and then you apply percentages to them. So what we have to do in this situation. Sorry, can I help, sir? Oh, hang on, not quite ready yet. Is when you look at this, you have to think, okay, when you're looking at the stars, let's go back to Hugh Evans' Zodiac in Gwynedd. All right. The problem we have here, if you look at the night sky, and you see the stars up there, you might think to yourself, well, who decided that was a plough, and who decided that was a bear, and who decided this is or whatever, right? Who decided all those things? There's millions of stars. You can make lots of different variations, and you can pretty much see what you're looking for. The point of the Zodiac in Gwynedd is that you do have bright stars like the plough. Everyone can see the plough, or the Big Dipper, as it's sometimes called. China, it's funny enough, it's also some sort of dipper. It's like a ladle. So this can vary according to where you observe it. That's very bright, and most cultures seem to recognise that one. But then whether or not that becomes part of Ursa Major, the big bear, and Ursa Minor, and you've got Heracles or the angry warrior, and all these things then need some sort of reference. And if you try and learn the stars, as I'm trying to do at the moment, what you realise, you need a story to help you. Otherwise you're just looking at millions of dots. So the question then is, when these maps are being produced, why have they chosen what they have chosen, and why have they named them what they are? Now, the situation you have in Gwynedd, which is why this is called the origin of the Zodiac, is that the constellations have been made or chosen to match the geography of Gwynedd. So when you pick out your 7 stars of Pleiades or 7 sisters, there are 7 mountains in Gwynedd that match that. When you're looking at the Camlan, you got the 2 sides of the valley like this, like a point, the 2 horns of the bull, and that becomes Taurus. So all these places match. So the logic you have to think of then, there's only 2 ways. Did we have this Zodiac first, and then they scoured the planet looking for a place that happened to fit, and by luck look at this place, it's amazing, all the mountains match the Zodiac we've already got? Or does it seem more likely that the Zodiac was plotted to match the geography? And this is where you get into really... So with the Ptolemaic one, it makes sense, because that Zodiac was... I can't remember when it was agreed, but I mean, a few hundred years AD or BC, whichever side it was. So it's, although it's very old, it's a couple of thousand years old, we do know that things were going on in Britain and things were linked up. Where it gets difficult, when you look at the Babylonian star law, and that map I showed you there, with all these creatures running around, and there's some bizarre ones, there's goat fishes and all sorts of weird stuff going on. And then you find this story drawn out in the Welsh, South Wales geography. You got a problem. You got a big problem, because this is supposed to be 2,000-3,000 years BC. So do they get incredibly lucky when they came to Wales and went, oh, look at this, bit of luck. We got all these hills and everything here. We can make the stories match the hills. And the rivers flow in the right places to create the shapes we want, and we'll just name everything starting from the map and working backwards. This is where it starts to get a bit mind-blowing, you see. This is why it's important and becomes very interesting, because you could argue that it's more likely that the star map has gone from Britain, or particularly Wales in this instance, to Babylon. And then the migrations tell us it came back again, or the people came back again. So then you're into a really, really interesting world. And this is one of the factors that's fed into my theory that I'm not alone on this, but everyone's got their own tweak on it, and it's only a hypothesis to be tested. That the original civilizations like this started in Britain. I see then as the ice caps moving, not the whole planet was never a snowball. It's physically impossible. There's no ice age as such. But the weather does shift, as it's always doing. It's still happening now. I mean, a lot of this melting of ice now, you see, it's moving. One bit's melting, another bit's accumulating. So what will happen there, as this pole moves into northern Europe, this area becomes uninhabitable and frozen. They've taken this message they've had to migrate further south. So places which are now hot and desert might be considered difficult to live in. For a period, they would have been the warm, temperate areas with very fertile. And I think one of the reasons for them, a possible, I guess, hypothesis, okay? The reasons then for them being so interested in looking at the stars and everything would be to try and work out a time which they could go back. And another suggestion I would have here for archaeologists who are looking in Iraq and places like that, the cradle of civilization as it's called, sort of the Euphrates, Tigris kind of area, is, and I could go back to something which Craig Walters, and he's the guy, I hope you're there, Craig, get in touch, I haven't heard from him for ages, starting to worry a bit. He's the one who spotted, he wasn't very well last time I saw him, I've been trying to get in touch, and he's the one who identified the lionstone first, brought to my attention, and various other things he spotted. And one of the things which he observed a long time ago, and I am going to share it now because I think it needs to be out there before these things need to be out there as quickly as possible for various reasons, is that when you look at the Euphrates and the Tigris and that break in the rivers, have a look to see if that also works into South Wales. And you do some of the work, okay? There's a theory which Craig triggered, it's his ideas triggered this, and credit where it's due, and I've sort of carried on running with it, is that one of the strange things they discover in Iraq and that is that they have these, I don't know what they are, buildings scattered around the desert, and they can never work it out because there's never any sign of life. There's no coins, there's no words, there's no names, there's no much pottery or anything. Why have they got these places? So the official explanation is that it shows how centralized the country was. Absolute control from the capital, Baghdad, or whatever the equivalent was back then. And there's come up with some strange ideas which become mainstream facts. And the idea is because they were originally a nomadic people who moved around in tents, they like to simulate this lifestyle and just moved around anyway, and these were stopping points, although they didn't leave much trace at. Now, if you take the original Welsh valleys star map, which were the hills, as Alan Wilson and Blackett discovered and printed about way back in the 80s and 90s, if you look at this as providing a star map, and then you look at where key points are, and then plot that over onto a map of Iraq, Syria, you can start to see where those buildings might match. Some of the particularly important ones, like, I can't remember all the names now, Persephone's and places like that. This is an area of research I would really want to throw myself into for years, but all this has come along, it's never going to happen. So people out there, if this inspires you, pick this up. Because what I'd love to do then, because I saw some poor German woman who's very sincere, been working hard on the site for 20 years, trying to work out what is going on at this place. Why couldn't she find anything, even with a name on it or something? Well, if the star map's already been designed and the Zodiac's already been designed in Britain, and it's based on the layout of the mountains, either as in Hughes book here, Gwynedd, which would be this was Zodiac, or we've got other star map, like Wilson and Blackett show, occurs in South Wales. And we've got the stories, the Babylonian stories, which Steve is very convincingly shown in South Wales. And they arrive in what's basically a flat area. They might want to repeat this information and produce a new as above, so below in the what we call Babylon or that area. And it might actually be completely the other way around. I've just thrown this in there because I've been wanting to talk about it for ages, and it's little things which people might get interested in and can run with, because I'm not going to have the time to do it, I don't think. There's so much other stuff going on. But what I'm going to do is look at that, and then I would suggest that the real blind acid test then would be, I wouldn't take much effort, to plot a few points on the map of Iraq, or that area, and say, I think you'll find another one of these palaces here, another one here, another one here, another one here, because they correspond with hills or mountains in Wales. It's the other way around. Because it's an awful lot easier to build a palace than it is to move a bloody great mountain. Oops, excuse my language on Sunday evening. So, this is why this gets all really mind-blowing. I mean, properly mind-blowing. did it all start here, go back and there again. So anyway, coming towards the end of the show, the musician Xavi just disappeared now. So I highly recommend this book by Gavin White. Gives you the background on Babylonian stuff. Oh, producer's going to go and get him. Right, can I use some of the comments, Sharon, a second? The Cummer, there's twins in the star map. Right, Dean, you send this to me now because there's a lot of this stuff. Amnesia, just as the true Welsh. What have we got? Here's this from. Hancock said, we're a people of amnesia, just as... Oh, is that Graham Hancock, I presume, as opposed to Tony Hancock? Bum bum. Just as true for the Welsh, Mesopotamians, Irish, Scythians, Picts, Thracians could be. Maybe it's how the tribes recognise the promised land. Sarian says something similar to Ross. A third theory, depending on your beliefs, that is divinely ordained, the chosen land for the chosen people. See, it could be. I tell you what, that would convince you, wouldn't it? If there's any people in the migration needed convincing, they said, see this map here, see all these stars. God, imagine the religious fervour. If you've been in, say you've been in Mesopotamia for hundreds of years, 1,000 years, something like that, 2,000 years. Finally, your astrologers say, hey, great, the ice caps have moved back again. The Earth's rotation is matching. We can go back to this chosen land. And you know this map we've been using for the last hundreds of years? Guess what? Check out the hills when you get there. That would convince people, wouldn't it? And there's one other thing I want to say on here. I'm going a bit too deep, really. But I hope people don't mind. Because I have to speak to Gavin White. I mean, I'm using Gavin's book. I know Hugh uses that map as well because it applies to the Gwynedd. And you've got to read this book because this explains what Gwynedd does. It brings things up to... This is still the same Zodiac we use today. This is where it gets really weird, okay? So as you can see, the heading there. How were the stars chosen? This is the point that Hugh's making. Why do they say, oh, that bit looks like this, and there's mountains there? This is a great subject. It really is. I know it seems to be a long way from history, but it's really integral. There we go. I found this. There we are. As the same map, produced by kind permission of Gavin White, who I'd love to have a chat with one day, but I think he's quite camera averse. I'd love to get him on for an interview and talk about these things. Because there's one other thing I'd love to chat to him about in particular. If you are watching this, Gavin, ever, please do, and please get in touch. Is that... Oh, you're too deep now. Anyway, a lot of the star signs in here, when they look at the Babylonian year, is that... Okay? Oh, I thought you were nudging me. You look at the Babylonian year, and what's going on. To me, the spring... I'll have to show it another time, get permission to use this. Anyway, all the symbols in the spring seem more like autumn to me. In that people there are not... people are gathering crops. They are not sowing crops. Okay, they're gathering crops, not sowing crops. And similarly with the autumn ones, they seem like spring. They do look like they're planting and stuff. So to me, it strikes me that this map is actually the wrong way around. And I think there's a reason for that. Which could also tie into migrations. If you are in Northern Europe, like we are, then obviously you well, it's obvious to us because we live here. You sow in the spring, stuff grows in the summer, you reap in the autumn. If you're in a very hot area, everything's reversed. Because then the winter's actually the fertile period, because the temperatures are more mild, and you're reaping and sowing. So in the areas they lived, this theory in Gavin White's book and the star map doesn't actually work in Mesopotamia and places like that. Whereas his star map does work in Britain. So it would strike me that the star map was done before they went there, because it doesn't actually work for where they ended up. So there you go. Anyway, I've drifted a long, long way off. So this week, hopefully going to get the videos up, get back to wrap up the show, get the videos up for Lee Pennington, his discussions, then we go on to the whole thing then. About the millions of tons of copper coming out from America, which fueled the Bronze Age. There's some other stuff on there, which is amazing. Also, even Easter Island. We're drifting a bit off Britain's hidden history there, but it does all sort of tie together in a way of opening our eyes to the world. As I say, and these new books are coming along. So please get your orders in. Oh, and the music, we've got the CDs. Oh, and I just want to say that thank you to those who ordered copies of Wales History and Bondage, because it's a fantastic film that Lee Penton made in 1994, and it's now available on the website in the UK, because it's quite hard to get in the UK before. I watch it loads of times. I think it's great. All right, there we are. I'm drifting on. It's Sunday nights and school nights, so I hope people have enjoyed that. Little bit of a detour, but you wait till you see the rest of what Steve Willett has got. It's outstanding. So you've got the Zodiac in Gwynedd here, and then we've got this sort of the start, which is the modern Ptolemaic Zodiac, which ties in with the four quarters of Wales, with the spiritual in the top left-hand corner. Top right, soldiers, Clwyd. Southwest, the yeomen, farmers, Dyfed. Southeast, the main populations, Cardiff, that kind of stuff. Okay, so there we are. I feel a bit mind blown. I don't know if people are going to think of all that. It's been a lot to take in. And because I've got the advantage as well, of course, because I've also got the notes here, Wilson Blackett's another file of notes I've read. How my blinded mind doesn't just go, I don't know. Because they've written a whole book, effectively, which required very little editing. And that's good. Oh, yeah, one more thing about the new books is that the whole thing of in Wilson and Blackett way is just how religions were invented and why and what they mean. I know it sounds bonkers. It is bonkers, but it's just, as I say, it's like handling a Mozart handwritten music piece, because it's just hand typed, a couple of corrections, and basically a book more or less downloaded. So you get a few repeats and sections duplicated because they mentioned them before, but not even much of that. And what I'm proposing to do, and I'd like some comments and feedback, please, is put these books out pretty much as they are and let people do their own stuff. Because if I put all the work into putting footnotes and all the research that went into the Jesus book, these books are going to come out once a year or once every 18 months, and I'm going to be 120 years old still producing their books. So I think it's best we just put them out there, and please expect the brickbats of academics saying, oh, this doesn't quite match up, or things like that. Okay? Anyway, right. I'm looking forward to lots of... oh, yeah, and I've got a new thing to play out with. You know that last week we said, I'll put something on the screen, Ross, for when we finish the show? Ha ha ha! It struck me, I've got perfect stuff. Absolutely perfect things. When Xavi's finished entertaining us with his piece of music, I should be putting on a wonderful video. If I could just... Where is it? All right, you ready, Xavi? What are you going to play us out with? Oh, you're going to ask me something. Oh, whisper, yes. Pardon? Oh, yes, you are allowed to play it, yes. Through gritted teeth. Only because of what this song is... Anyway, no modern politics. No modern politics. This is not a political song. This is one that Xavi's been learning, all right? So just enjoy it as a piece of German music, isn't it? Yes. There we go. A little bit of Beethoven, okay? The things they put on examination pieces these days. And I'll get a video, if I can remember where it... I remember where it is, that's right. Okay, takes it away, Xav. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Ongoing support is wonderful. Yeah, North Star Pub. And Heddwch. Buenas noches. Good night, Finky. Oh, you can't see it. Four scales are useless this week. Hey, well done, Xavi. Very good. I'm going to work out some way of getting there, because Leon plays the piano. Somewhere getting out to show Leon play the piano one of these weeks. Now, this scene here, which unfortunately is run out in a set. I know it's a bit to go. This, I'll tell you what, they wouldn't recognise it before I give any clues or answers. Now, I had this wonderful idea when I was there last there. Oh, look at those things in the sky. Nope, put the words down. Don't put what they're called. Otherwise the video will get banned. Just say, look at those things in beautiful blue sky. Anyway, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to make these... while I was there, I get spoilt to go to all these wonderful, picturesque holiday places. And it's in Wales, Welsh countryside. I would just plonk my camera down and leave it running for ages. And people can put this... I've heard that people like to put things in their offices and stuff. If you live in a stressful place, big city, busy office, people put up things of, I don't know, shacks in the middle of Alaska. And I know my cousin loves snowstorms and shacks and these weird things people watch. So this is... Right, I'm going to jump in a second, sorry, because this is only 2 minutes, and I need to be going upstairs. And I've got... I did a really long one. It's like an hour of it, I think it is. 3 minutes, that's not it. 36 seconds, oh come on, I did a long one. 8 minutes, that the longest I did. There you go. So if you want to continue the... thank you very much, thank you, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit weird this week. And Lego, we've got to get back on, mate. And Lego came on us a couple of trips. And we're going to do talking about ours. About the big black books. Well, Wilson and Blackett's books, which I didn't do yet. Okay, it's a good night from me, a good night from Leon. You say no star?
No star.
Yeah, bedtime now. And you, Seren, school in the morning. Alright, it's already late. So I shall leave this running. Oh, hang on, you can't see it. Only I can see it. Ah, such a muppet. There you go. So I go do my usual thing where I go, Heather can block the screen off and I'll put this back on. Alright, so, Heather. I'm going to do it in such a way bear with me a second. Where's the video editing software? Can you see it? Oh, there it is. No, I want to do this. Trouble is I can't do it without showing it what I'm doing. Just want to get rid of that for a minute. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do, wasn't it? Sorry everybody. Millions of things open. I know I passed it. Shush. There you go. Nice relaxing scene. How about that? Just while we sign out, and you can message me in the chat. Woo! Okay, and till next time. Edu.
you.